Hi, I'm Kathy Kiely, president of the Ad Club. Thank you for joining us on the Big Orange Couch. Today we are with Seth Priebatsch, who is the founder and chief ninja of Scvngr. You have an affection for the color orange, is that right?
I do indeed, so I feel right at home.
Tell us a little bit about that affection and where it came from.
The company got founded when I was a freshman at Princeton, and we went to pitch the Princeton Business Plan competition and had no logo, not really anything except for like a couple Python scripts that were kind of going to make something that looked like it might be Scvngr work on screen. And I figured, Princeton's colors are orange. All the judges are Princeton alumni. If I make Scvengr's colors orange and make the PowerPoint just ridiculously bright orange, they're more likely to vote for me. So I love the couch.
That's great. So you're right at home.
Right at home,
Good.
Absolutely.
Why don't you give us your soundbite that you would deliver in an elevator on what is Scvngr?
Scvngr is the game layer on top of the world. And it's part game that you play casually through your daily life and part game platform. The game is super simple. You go places, you do challenges, and you earn points. And the game platform is super simple. You can literally build challenges, custom fun challenges at your favorite places wherever you go.
We just had Dennis Crowley
Cool.
from Foursquare sitting on the Big Orange Couch.
Awesome.
Talk to me a little bit about how your venture is similar and how it's different.
I love what those guys are up to and how they're sort of popularizing the space, but I think that there are a couple key differences that are going to give us a huge competitive advantage down the road. The first one is the check-in versus the challenge. So all of these services are focused exclusively on the check-in. And we're all pretty familiar with the check-in. You load up your phone, you go to a place, and you hit a button. And that's the end of it. You can check in on Scvngr, but our core unit is not the check-in, it's the challenge. And we sort of look at the check-in and say, that's fun, and there are good times to do that, but it's kind of a one-dimensional experience. Whereas a challenge can be a check-in, but can also have you snap a photo, or do some activity, or scan a QR code, or really do anything that someone has created as a challenge for that place. And so while a challenge is still only 6 seconds, it's as quick and as casual and as fast as a check-in, it's a lot more fun, it's a lot more flexible, and it makes for a much more interesting story when you share to your friends that, I went to a burrito shop and did the tinfoil origami challenge with my burrito wrapper.
So for the burrito store, what's in it for them?
So say the burrito shop had built this challenge. The reason they're doing it is to attract, to engage, and to reward. And so by attract, we mean, you have now made the game layer at your burrito shop much better. You've attracted, tons and tons of people because there's something fun and engaging and cool to do there. But you're not just getting them to sort of check in and then mentally check out. You're actually getting them to do a challenge. They're doing something interesting and exciting and engaging with your shop in some, unique, fun, kind of whimsical way. And then you're rewarding them. And in this case, you might be rewarding them with something as basic as points, or it might be something like a badge, which everyone is familiar with, or it might even be, do challenges here enough and you'll get a free burrito. Who
are some of the biggest brands and some of the bigger users that have engaged Scvngr as a tool?
Absolutely. There are a couple that we just announced last week which are really exciting. Tesla Motors, for example, is building challenges at each of their showrooms where you go in and you snap a picture of your favorite Tesla or get behind the wheel and sort of put on your best driving face, which is awesome. We're going to be doing awesome promotions with Journeys, which is a national retailer, with the Patriots, with the New York Times, with the Celtics. We're about to launch a campaign on Scvngr for Inception, which is the new Warner Brothers Leonardo DiCaprio movie, which is going to be awesome. And so there, if you can imagine challenges at 3,000 movie theaters all across the country, and of course challenges can include video.
So Seth, we're excited because we're actually doing our own Scvngr Trek.
Very cool.
And the Scvngr Trek is going to be for creative teams in ad agencies and in-house agencies around the city to find the hatch judges who will have flown in from around the country, and they'll be hiding somewhere in the city of Boston. So the Scvngr Trek will end there, and we'll have a big party. So tell us, let's get into just a little bit of a detail about what a trek is and what people can expect on a trek, on a Scvngr Trek.
Definitely. Treks basically connect places and challenges. The game Scvngr is all about going places, doing challenges, earning points, and in a trek, it lists a certain set of places and challenges. So, for example, the Freedom Trail has built out a trek, and that will take you along the Freedom Trail. In this case, you guys are picking all the places that you want to feature, all throughout Boston. You're going to have custom challenges there. People will download the Scvngr app for iPhone or Android, go to the Treks tab, find your trek, and then it's going to list all the places they've got to go. Then they've got to select one of those places, go there, do the challenge you've created, earn a couple points, rise up the leaderboard, and eventually head to the after party and win whatever awesome prize you've got on the line.
So in a trek, they don't have to even do anything in order. They can sort of pick and choose the spot they want to.
Exactly. You can pick your own order, which we find particularly funny because most treks are not competitive, right? So in a Freedom Trail trek or, the 10 best coffee shops in Boston trek, people will do it over time. They'll do one today, maybe two tomorrow. Scavenger really is a casual game. But in ones like this, where it's a little more competitive, everyone has their own strategy.
So Seth, the future of Scvngr, what's the growth for Scvngr? What are next steps? Or are you already moving on to your next startup?
No, definitely not the next startup. No, Scvngr is at what I like to think about the 8% mark, right? We've done a lot of good stuff, but there's 92% left to build. And so, this was a huge step for us. Making the game layer accessible to everyone, as opposed to just institutions, was probably, that's what we considered step 3. That was awesome. And then for us next is growing this rapidly. I mean, since we've launched, every single day has been record-breaking on literally every metric that we track, which is awesome. So people are downloading the Scvngr app for iPhone and Android. They're going places. They're doing challenges. They're earning points. They're sharing it out to their friends. They're having awesome time with that. But there's still a lot to be done. For example, right now our connection to Facebook and Twitter on the Scvngr app is not great. And that's something that we're working really late nights and really early mornings to try and fix.
Talk about that a little bit.
So Scvngr is part game platform, and also very much a social utility. It is a great way to keep track of not only where your friends are, but what they're doing, and also discover cool new things to do with them. And what better place to get that graph of your friends than from Facebook? So
you just got a lot of money from Google. It won't go to Princeton necessarily right now, but talk to us about what's happening with Google and the next. Originally, what Scvngr was about, now how it's being transformed.
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to raising money from Google Ventures, the first round we raised was from Highland Capital, which is an incredible VC firm here in the Boston area and also all over the world. And so we raised about $750,000 from Highland and spent all of 2009 focusing on nothing but enterprise. We went to universities and cities and local and regional brands and museums and conferences and said, build on Scvngr, make the game layer at your locations awesome, and attract people and engage them and sort of activate a viral buzz. And that was hugely successful. We went from 0 to 350 clients and about 0 to $1 million in revenue over our first year, which was awesome. And then said, the next step is now it has to be for everyone. Not only should institutions build on Scvngr, but everyone should build on Scvngr. And not only can you play at what is now 650 institutions who have built on Scvngr, but you can actually play anywhere. And that was a huge expansion. And we knew that if we were going to do that, we needed more funding and we needed a pretty awesome partner, especially one with some serious technical backing. And if you look at it, there's really no one better than Google at the moment when it comes to a lot of things. But they're great at technology, they're great at search, they're great at email, they're great at images, they're great at geolocation, and now they're great at venture funding.
I think our audience would love to hear what it's like to be up in front of Google Ventures and what that whole experience was like going in and asking for that money.
Sure. So in many ways, pitching Google Ventures is like pitching a standard VC. They've got their partners. They'll ask you for the elevator pitch just like everyone else. They probably won't ask you for a 40-page business plan. Much more. Give me the 5-slide deck. The quick high-level points that I need to know, and then they'll put you through the gauntlet and make you pitch all the different partners and really get them to understand the concept. But once they do get it, and if they like it, then they move really fast. And working with them is just unbelievable.
And how many in your pitch team? How many of you got in front of them?
So pitching Google Ventures, I went out to pitch Rich Miner myself here in Boston, and then flew out to Mountain View to pitch some of the partners out in Mountain View, and went solo on it. But luckily it went well.
Yeah. Were you nervous when you got up in front of them?
So I will swear to the death that I wasn't nervous at all. But yes, I was totally freaking out.
I bet.
But I think if you're not freaking out in a situation like that, something's a little
well,
wrong.
You won't be good. You won't be on.
Right.
So now we're going to just change topics a little bit and talk about you, Seth. I think people love to hear about the entrepreneur and who they are as a person. So let's talk about you a little bit.
I've been doing startups probably as long as I can remember. I think I started my first one when I was 11, and it was called Giftopedia, and it failed gloriously. And it was a total blow up. We made some money, but it was meant to be a shopping registry for you and your friends. And I was 11, and I was getting up at 4 in the morning to Skype conference to a development team based out of Bangalore, and we had about 8 people working on the project. And it was I had no idea what I was doing, but it was really fun. And so I think that has messed up my circadian rhythms forever. So I can't sleep anymore. And then my second one, I started probably a couple of years later, and it was called Postcard Tech. And at that point, I think by the time we kicked it off, I was 16 or 17, and I had a factory of 8 people cranking out CD postcards in Hong Kong. And I'd never seen these people. I'd never met the factory or anything. I think the factory was on the mainland. But you know, we literally were producing little postcards that had CD-ROMs in them, and you could mail them for 14 cents and fit a huge amount of multimedia on it. And it was a hugely successful business. It actually ended up financing Scvngr for a lot of it. I started it, you know, ended up in high school dropping some courses and working on postcard tech as a independent project, and they gave me course credit, and it went from concept to cash flow positive in about 8 weeks.
There's a rumor that you have like an extraordinary number of phones. What is that true? Or
yes, so you know, we're a company that very much is a mobile gaming platform, and so I think at the moment I've got about 21 different devices, all hooked up and doing one thing or another. On a daily basis, I carry 4. I've got the HTC Evo on Sprint, which runs Android. I've got the iPhone on AT&T. I've got the Nexus One, also Android, on T-Mobile, and the Droid Incredible on Verizon. And the idea is to make sure Scvngr works on every phone, but also, you know, if you've got one on every carrier, you're never out of contact. And I was once without internet, and it was terrible.
Were you in prison?
No, just I was actually in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and there was just no internet. So with those four devices, you've always got a connection somewhere.
You must be quite a date. You must be a very interesting date. The 21
had I ever been on a proper date, I might know. But
where are you from? You have a little bit of a. It almost sounds like a British accent.
So I was born in Boston, but my father's South African. And so he was born in Johannesburg, and most of my family's still in Johannesburg. And the way I think about it is, you know, I'm sort of averaging Boston and Johannesburg. And so right now I'm hovering in northwestern England, and I'll slowly be migrating over the Atlantic.
Because you can hear just a touch
of
it.
It's not quite the proper Boston accent, but.
No. All right, we're going to do this differently this time. You're going to close on the big orange couch. No, go. Come on, you have a better memory.
Sure. Well, thank you for joining us on the big orange couch. And make sure to play Scvngr with the Ad Club on July 29th.
And who are you again?
And my name's Seth Priebatsch. And who are you?
Kiely with the Ad Club. Thank you.